Tunghayan po natin ang special coverage ng press briefing sa Palasyo ng Malacañang.
Good morning. Welcome to our economic briefing. Today we have Assistant Secretary Tony Lambino to introduce our guests.
Salamat, Yusek Rocky. Magandang umaga po at welcome sa ating weekly economic briefing co-hosted by the Economic Development Council and PCOO. Ngayong umaga ay nais nating magbigay ng pahayag tungkol sa isa sa mga programa mula sa Train Law upang labanan ang illegal smuggling sa bansa. Ang fuel marking program ay pinangungunahan ng Bureau of Customs at Bureau of Internal Revenue, kasama na rin po ang DOF. Ito po ay ang sistema ng pag-inject o paglalagay ng mga molecular tracers or fuel markers sa lahat ng imported at refined petroleum products gaya ng gasolina, diesel at kerosene. Pagkatapos po itong markahan at ma-distribute sa merkado, iikot naman po ang ating mga inspectors sa mga gasoline stations, oil depots at refineries sa buong bansa upang maisiguro na nabayaran ang karampatang buwis ng bawat litro ng ibinebentang produktong petrolyo sa mga consumers. Halos sa abot po sa 44 na bilyong piso ang nawawala sa ating kabangbayan dahil sa pag-smuggle ng mga produktong petrolyo. Ang pondong ito ay magagamit natin sa ating mas lumalawak na mga programa gaya ng healthcare, education at infrastruktura. Ang fuel marking program ay inaasahang magiging mabisang paraan upang mahuli ang mga fuel smugglers. Nagsimula na po tayo ng mga trial testing sa ating local fuels kasama ang Department of Energy, gayon din po ang training ng ating mga inspectors sa paggamit ng mga analyzers na katulad po ng nakikita nyo ngayon dito sa harap. For those who are smuggling or even thinking of smuggling fuel, please know that we will implement the fuel marking program vigorously. At nais po namin na ipaalam na susunod na po ang mga smugglers ng petroleum products sa listahan ng huhulihin ng pamahalaan. Upang mas bigyang linaw ang mga detalye ng programang ito, please welcome Director Emmy Macabales of the Department of Finance, Deputy Commissioner Ted Raval of the BOC Enforcement Group, and Mr. Danny Pasilyao of the BIR. Narito rin po ang mga resource persons mula sa SICPA SGS, ang consortium na nanalo sa bidding para sa fuel marking program. Pero bago po natin ibigay sa ating mga panauhin ang mikropono, ay panoorin po natin ang maikling video na ito.
From 2019 onwards, all finished oil products, imported or refined in the Philippines, are marked, tested and monitored by the authorities. This nationwide program consists of fuel marking, field inspections and reporting. Highly resilient molecular markers are injected at strategic fuel entry points, securely identifying all legal fuels. Mobile inspection laboratories are used for instant field testing at any time, anywhere, differentiating legal fuels from illegal ones, and delivering irrefutable forensic evidence. Data collected from markings and inspections is compiled and analyzed in real time, sending alerts to the authorities when frauds are detected. From marker production, transport and storage to marking and field inspection, the fuel marking program is securely deployed, assuring integrity. This nationwide fuel marking program ensures tax collection, curbs smuggling and missed declaration, deters illegal downstream activities linked to unauthorized fuel products, and builds a transparent standard operating procedure for all fuel stakeholders.
Deputy Commissioner Ted Raval of the BOC Enforcement Group.
To the members of the Malacañang Press Corps, good morning. During the 117th anniversary of the Bureau of Customs, Undersecretary Antonio Tionco of DOF, Commissioner Ray Guerrero of the BOC, and Deputy Commissioner Arnel Gubalya, led the ceremonial fuel marking activity. So in a nutshell, imported and refined gasoline, diesel, and kerosene are now mandated to be marked with the official fuel marker. The marking will be done only after payment of the corresponding duties and taxes, and the fuel marking fee in the amount of 0.06884 per liter of fuel. 3 months from implementation, random field testing shall be conducted by a joint team of BOC, BIR, and our service providers on depots, trucks, lorries, retail stations, and even vessels. Confirmatory tests shall also be immediately conducted once fuels which are unmarked or diluted are found in the market. The detailed process of the testing and the marking stages are now being finalized by the combined team of DOF, BOC, and BIR. And while the program aims to curb oil smuggling and increase revenue collection, it has been the policy to consider seamless and efficient implementation, which will be advantageous to both the government and the stakeholders. Thank you, and good morning.
Thank you, DEPCOM Raval. Mr. Pasiliao.
Okay, so I read the statement of our commissioner. To the distinguished members of the Malacañang Press Corps and my fellow servants in the government. The fuel marking program is something new to the BIR. As mandated by the train law, the program must be implemented and objectives achieved. The BIR is confident that with the fuel marking program, it would help strengthen further its enforcement capability and to help plug perennial revenue loss from excise tax and VAT from illegal distribution of taxable fuel products in the domestic market. Under the program, the BIR is tasked to ensure that locally refined fuels are properly marked before it is removed from the refinery. Downstream, the BIR is also tasked to monitor the presence of marker in fuels at the retail stations. Illicit fuels usually end up at the retail stations for its final disposition. With the mandatory marking, the BIR would now be able to identify and trace any unmarked and therefore deemed untaxed fuel at retail level and collect the taxes due thereon. Being a possessor of an unmarked fuel, a person or an owner of retail station with the untaxed fuel shall be liable to the excise tax and VAT due on such fuel, including penalties. This is without prejudice to the filing of appropriate criminal case against the owner of the retail station. In line with this, the BIR is readying the guidelines for the implementation of the program. Task force to conduct field tests on the retail level will be formed on a full-time basis to ensure full compliance with the program. That's the statement of our commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Director Emmy.
Do I need the statement, sir? So, in a nutshell, the Philippine Fuel Marking Program aims to mark imported and refined petroleum products such as gasoline, diesel, and kerosene using a covert and sophisticated marking and testing technology to ensure that all downstream fuels are subject to tax and duty paid. Thus, tax leakage from oil smuggling and other fuel fraud will be plugged and the government's revenue increased. The Bureau of Customs and the Bureau of Internal Revenue, under the supervision of the Department of Finance, are the accountable government agencies to implement the fuel marking program, the BOC for the imported products, and, of course, the BIR for the refineries. A fuel marking fee amounting to roughly 6 cents per liter shall be paid by the government to the fuel marking service provider. For the first year of the implementation. For the second year of implementation, we hope to source the fund from the fuel marking trust receipt. After the first 3 months of a flushing out period, within which all the downstream fuels are expected to have been marked, random field testing will be conducted by the BOC, BIR, and the fuel marking provider on depots, tank trunks, and retail station to determine the presence or the absence of the fuel markers. Fuels found to be unmarked or with marker levels below the prescribed dilution level shall be immediately subject to confirmatory test in a controlled laboratory, and corresponding duties and taxes will be assessed. The detailed guidelines on the aforementioned processes are currently being finalized by the BOC, BIR, and DOF, and are subject to further consultation with the oil industry. Rest assured that while the government urges the immediate implementation of the program, it understands that its policies and guidelines must be to the advantage of both the government and the stakeholders.
Yusek Rocky?
Okay, MPC, you have question? Yeah, please.
Good morning. Sir, yung sinasabi niyo pong 44 billion na nawawala sa gobyerno, saan po galing yung data?
The 44 billion is actually based on a consumer protection group who published the paper, I think, a few years back. ADB also has a different number. I think ADB estimate is about 20 billion revenue loss from smuggling alone.
So, earlier, ma'am, napanood po natin yung, yung video presentation yung tungkol sa marking. Pero sa tingin ko po, para bang mawawala yung marking kung gusto ko pong malaman, meron po ba monitoring naman po yung mga importation o mga gross receipts? Kasi po, napaka-importante. Kahit anong marking gawin, kung wala pong monitoring, hindi po magiging successful.
Yes, ma'am. Part of the program is actually monitoring both the collection for revenue as well as the correct collection for the fuel marking fee that will be collected and transmitted, and then that will form part of the fuel marking trust receipt.
Another question. Sa BIR po, yung pong mga big players, di po ba yung mga POC po ba, yung machine naka-hook up po sa inyo? Tama po ba yun? Yung mga resibo pong pag nagpapakarga kaming gasolina, naka-ano po ba directly sa BIR?
Yung ilan na POS machines
Yes,
ay
opo.
kinuhanan ng permit sa BIR
Opo.
para yung automatic yung kanilang anong tawag nito, recording ng mga sales.
Yes, sir.
Na pag in-inspect ng BIR, makikita na trace na walang nalaktawan at lahat ng mga sales nila ay na-issuean ng tamang resibo.
Yun po yun, sir, yung mga big players. How about yung pong mga generic, yung pong say gas, yung marami pong mga generic. Kasama rin po ba sa yun? Merong mga POC na monitor nyo?
Yes, yung mga retail stations naman ay sakop ng aming revenue district offices. Yung kanilang resibo, kung hindi man sila gumagamit ng POS, ay rehistrado rin sa BIR at yun ang basihan para i-record yung kanilang benta. Ganun din yung mga POS nila, sinisigurado namin na nakarehistro rin sa BIR para lahat ng bentahan nila ay nare-record at nare-report sa BIR.
So, sigurado, sir, bali, yung mga naka-manual receipts, meron pong report sa inyo. Meron po tayong team from BIR na talagang pumiikot. How often po ito ginagawa?
May tinatawag sa BIR na TCVD na nag-inspect yung mga revenue officers ng bawat stores na rehistrado sa kanilang distrito para tignan kung talagang nagko-comply sila, nag-i-issue ba talaga sila ng resibo o hindi. Kaya nag-check po.
Last question kay Asek Lambino. Kasi po, na-mention nyo rin tungkol po sa mga vessels. Pag sinabi nyo pong vessels, yun po ba yung mga nasa barge? Meron din po tayong mga tao doon. Kasi po, nandun yung smuggling doon sa mismong mga nasa tubig, say Subic, say Clark. Meron po mga nababalita na doon po nila idinadaan yung, isa pa po sa Bataan, sa Mariveles. Meron po ba tayong mga tao? Meron po ba tayong ginagawa o ano po yung programa natin para talaga, kasi kung mapapabayaan po natin yung mga nabanggit kong 3 na lugar, parang baliwala din ho yata itong magiging programa natin. Thank you.
Nasa jurisdiction po yata yan ng Bureau of Customs. So if I may defer to DepCom.
Yes, ma'am. If you're referring to yung mga vessels, the intention is to cover everything. So yung testing will also include yung mga sinabi mong barges.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Evelyn. Rose Novenario.
Hi, Sir Asek Lambino. Good morning. Hi,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am.
Sir,
Good
ano
morning
po
po.
yung magiging epekto nitong fuel marking program sa consumers? Magkakaroon po ba ito ng dagdag sa presyo ng langis at produktong petrolyo? Considering po na lagi po yung naging pangkaraniwan na po sa Pilipinas yung oil price hike.
Kinonsult ko lang po yung relevant office. The first year will be covered by a fund that has been put in place. Ang benepisyo po nito ay marami. Una, smuggled fuel is more likely to be bad for your engine. So this is an additional quality check for the consumer. Dahil hindi po ima-mark kung hindi po pasado sa quality check. Pangalawa, smuggled fuel, if it is of lower quality, is also more likely to be worse in terms of emissions. Ibig sabihin po, makakatulong din po ito sa pagprotekta sa ating kapaligiran, sa ating environment. Pagdating naman po sa potential inflationary impact po nito, na-estimate na po namin ito using the input-output tables at napakababa po ng contribution nito. So negligible po pagdating sa inflation.
Kahit po wala ng subsidy yung gobyerno after 1 year implementation?
Meron pong mekanismo for after the first year. I'll ask Director Emmy to explain it.
So on the first year, ma'am, what will happen is a 1.960 billion peso was used by the procurement services to obtain the services of our providers here. So that will fund for the first year. And on the second year po, what will happen is the refiner, manufacturer, and the importers will be the ones who will be paying the 6 cents on the liter. That 6 cents po will go into the fuel marking trust fund, which will later be used din po to pay the services of the providers natin. Centavos po.
Sino po yung magmamanage nung trust fund?
So the trust fund po is actually, the rules for the trust fund was set up by the permanent committee. So the permanent committee is composed of the Department of Finance, the Commission on Audit, and the Department of Budget. So you see po that there in place po yung monitoring on this. There are required reports that has to be submitted to these agencies to make sure that the funds are used only for the purpose it was set up.
Ano naman sila sakop ng COA rules eh? No?
Yes, ma'am. So COA is also part of the group who came up with the implementing rules.
Okay, thank you, Rose. MPC, Pia.
Anyone po could answer. In terms of revenue, how much do we expect to collect for the first few years of implementation? And also, on the recovery of lost volume due to smuggling, gaano po kalaki yung estimate na marirecover po natin?
So we're hoping to collect at least 20 billion, the estimated na revenue loss. So we're hoping to collect between 20 to 40 billion per year.
Yung estimated volume po of petroleum products, meron po ba tayong estimate?
So I will have to refer you to BAR and BOC on the estimated volume of importation and refinery production.
Okay. For the BIR, ang estimated volume for the three products, diesel, kerosene, at saka gasoline ay mga 8 billion liters.
That's per year, sir. No?
Yes, for the year.
For the BOC, the projected volume for 2019 for diesel, gasoline, and kerosene is pegged at 6.876 billion.
Okay, Pia. Okay. MPC, questions? Okay na. RJ.
For the BOC, sir. So, what was done before, sir, to address this smuggled petroleum products?
About 10 years ago, there was a pilot project of the fuel marking, and I'm happy to inform you that I was part of the pilot program. Unfortunately, the issue then was that there was a loophole in the department order, in that it allowed for buyers in good faith, such that other than that, the fuel that was required to be marked are those which are to be consumed only in the free ports. So lahat ng nasa labas ng free port hindi minamarkahan. So yung mga lumalabas which are supposed to be consumed sa free port na nakakalabas, yun ang hinuhuli ng BOC.
Thank you, sir. Sir, which companies are involved again, sir? The joint venture.
So the consortium is between SICPA and SGS.
And how much do we pay them?
So we pay them based on the actual liter of fuel marked.
How much?
0.06 884.
And the estimate for per year, how much is that?
The estimate for, so you basically, I will have to
Multiply.
the predicted importation and refinery withdrawals with this number.
So, meron. Na-compute na po namin ngayon.
Magko-compute po kami.
Makabalas.
For 2019.
Wala. Ay.
Sorry.
Isa, round 2.
Around 400 million for 2019. That is for 6.8 billion liters of gasoline, diesel, and kerosene. That's for the BOC.
All right. So, will this impact the market price of the fuel?
That's around less than 3 pesos per full tank. So 40, if a full tank is 40 liters, it's around 2 pesos and 60 or 70 centavos per full tank.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Questions, MPC? Chona? Chona, you. Microphone, RJ, please. Thank you. Sir, may nahuli na po bang smuggler?
May nahuli na ba?
Ng fuel?
Yes.
I recall, mga last December or November last year, there was an incident dito sa Manila Bay, papasok ng Pasig River. Dalawang vessels which were carrying untaxed because there is no record that they were paid. So the presumption is because you don't have proof that this particular product was paid, then it must be smuggled.
Ano pong updates, sir? Were there charges filed?
There was a seizure, yes, but I have to check if charges has been filed against those who were involved.
Yun lang, sir. How many smuggler na po ba yung nahuli? Cases?
I'll get back to you kasi wala akong data noon.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. MPC, questions? Oh, question, Rose.
Ano po yung kapabayaan ba yun o negligence ng Bureau of Customs kaya nangyayari yung oil smuggling?
Marami kasing paraan ng pag-i-smuggle, ma'am. Actually, most of these incidents nangyayari sa high seas. So may mga dumidikit. That's from reports that we're receiving. May mga dumidikit and then seas, ang tawag doon? Hindi. Ship-side transfer ng fuel, and then this fuel yun ang pinapasok in smaller quantities.
So wala pong coordination sa Philippine Navy or Philippine Coast Guard, yung BOC?
Very recently, if you heard sa news note, we came up with a memorandum of agreement between Philippine Coast Guard and the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So we would like to harness the assets of both the PCG and the AFP.
Okay, MPC. Questions, Tina? BOC, pero okay lang po ba kung mag-other issue muna? Sorry. Tina?
BOC, any update po on the investigation of the fire incident at the Port of Manila?
The investigation is still ongoing. I am equally interested in the result of the investigation, but we cannot preempt the result.
Is there a deadline set up or given by the Office of the President or the Finance Secretary regarding this probe?
I hope the investigation is terminated as soon as possible.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay. MPC questions. RJ.
Sir, again, it's 2 or 3 pesos per tank yung charge per full tank.
Well, it's really 6.8 centavos times 40 liters if the tank is a 40-liter tank. So that's less than 3 pesos for the marker cost.
Okay, so meaning to say the consumer will have to pay for it.
There is a fund that was set up for this in the first year, and then the mechanism that Director Emmy described earlier. Could you describe it again?
So on the first year, so the 1.960 billion fund that was set up from the GAA before will be used to fund the first year of operations, and then on the second year we will be utilizing the fuel marking trust receipts.
And the third year,
same until the 5th year as mandated by law.
how many years do we plan to
So
implement?
under the train law, we're required to implement the program for 5 years.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Questions? Okay, Evelyn.
Sir, additional lang. Diyan na nabanggit niyo po kanina, DOF, BIR, and Customs. Meron din po bang intelligence mechanism yung kasama niya rin po ba sa grupo? Kasi kahit ano pong gawin nyo, kasi po yung nabanggit ng taga-custom ni DepCom na tatabi sa gilid, talaga naman, hindi ho report lang, talaga hong nangyayari. And if I can remember it right, isang mayor from Visayas na ngayon, dati nahulihan ho siya ng smuggling, barge, talaga yun ho talaga yung negosyo niya. So, ang gusto ko lang malaman, kasi kung wala po intelligence, sa tingin niyo magiging successful po ito?
Kasama po yan sa MOA ng with AFP. Actually, we intend to utilize yung
PC, yung pong
intelligence
AFP
service
naman.
of the armed forces.
Sir, meron rin ho bang provision doon na just in case nagkaroon naman silang kapabayaan, kumbaga sa nakipagsabwatan, meron ho bang sana meron mang penalty? Kasi ho, nangyayari kahit anong hirap gawin yan, anong BIR, DOF, Customs, kung talaga hong palulusutin ng militar, yung mga nasa sa dagat, wala ho tayong magagawa. Thank you.
Well, on one hand, yung MOA nga po ng BOC with AFP will help in that regard. Pangalawa, meron naman hong magagawa kasi kahit humapasok nila, ay mayroon ho tayong testing program all over the country. And ito nga po yung example ng testing unit. At nakaka-detect po siya kung 100% marked, kung 0% marked, o kahit po 48% marked. Kasi yun po yung ginawa namin nung anniversary ng Customs. They tried to do a half marked, and even to the 48% level na detect po ng machine. So I believe the threshold will be 95%. Up to 95%, that will be considered marked, but below that dilution ay considered smuggled na po, or at least nahaluan ng smuggled fuel. So even first of all, paiigtingin po yung efforts against the smuggling itself. Pero pangalawa, post-smuggling ay mahuhuli pa rin po yung mga smuggled fuels.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, MPC, no more questions? O Tina, okay.
Sir, as a backgrounder, ano yung success rate ng mga smuggling cases involving fuel na na-file sa different courts? If I recall it right, may mga big oil companies facing smuggling complaints, at meron rin yatang laws that would allow ng mga pwedeng forced settlement.
Gaya nga po ng nabanggit ko kanina, during the pilot program, may loophole po kasi yung policy which allowed for buyers in good faith. No? So, syempre, one of the elements when you prosecute a crime is intent. So, if you invoke buyer in good faith, nawawala po yung intent. The products were seized. Unfortunately, the prosecution could not prosper.
So there were loopholes in the law or in the policy?
In the previous pilot program. But this is what was addressed in this particular program, in this present program.
Okay, thank you po.
MPC, no more questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sirs, Asek Lambino, do you have any parting words? Or
Well, again, no, just to reiterate the benefits of this program, unang-una po ay talagang paiigtingin ang ating programa laban sa smuggling. Whether it's fuel or other products, no, cigarettes and the like. No, we want to make sure that our tax administration reforms are just as strong as our tax policy reforms. No? Kaya nga po kasama sa train law, hindi lamang po ang pag-modernize ng polisiya, pati po ang mechanisms for better and improved tax administration. At makikita naman natin yung results. No? Last year ay nasa record high collection efficiency po tayo. Pumasok po tayo sa larangan ng, malapit na po tayo sa among the best managed tax and revenue collection efforts in the region. Pangalawa ay meron din pong mga additional benefits ito in addition to revenue that will be gained from the anti-smuggling operations. Kasama rin po ang pag-protect sa consumer dahil masama nga po sa kanilang mga sasakyan ang mga smuggled fuels kung ito po ay low quality. So this is an additional quality check for the Filipino consumer, and in addition, it is an effort also to improve the emission levels, no? Kasi wala nga pong imamark na fuel kung hindi po pasado sa quality inspection. So it's good for the environment, it's good for the consumer, and it's also good for the government revenue effort that is being invested in our infrastructure, education, and healthcare programs.
okay, salamat Asek Lambino. Salamat po sa ating mga bisita. Salamat MPC and back to our main studio sa Radyo Pilipinas and People's Television Network.